My parents have favoritism. It's obvious, I've seen it for multiple years. So, that's why I'm so surprised when I decided to expose them. My parents have always favored my younger brother. I was by no means unloved, but it was blatantly obvious who they cared about more. I worked a part-time job to get my first car, but my brother got one as a present. It wasn't new, but was much newer than my car. It was the same with just about everything else, like clothes, video games, and even cell phones. I'm 18 and I'm taking a gap year before community college to work a full-time job and save money for tuition. But a while back, I heard my parents talking about how much they were going to pay for my brother's tuition. I secretly recorded the conversation from around the corner and then came out asking my parents why were they going to pay for my brother's college but not mine. They didn't notice my phone was recording and just said that my brother needs more help. I asked how so, when I wasn't getting any sort of scholarship and he likely wouldn't either. Then I asked a few more questions about why things have always been this way. Well, they got mad, and my father told me that perhaps it's time I moved out because they're sick of keeping a roof over my head, to be honest. I pointed out I do pay rent, but they didn't care. So, I left the room in a fit of rage, uploaded the video online to 2 different social medias, and I ranted about how this is how my parents have always been. Well, a few hours go by, and my parents were just pounding at my door. My dad was screaming at me about how I make them look bad. We fought some more, and they left the room fuming. My grandparents contacted me later and said they were appalled, then came to visit with a lot of the family the next day. There was a huge family intervention, and my parents were made to sit on the couch and look at their feet while being told off. It was then I found out they've been receiving money for years from my grandparents to help with the family expenses. My brother looked like he didn't know what to do, so he sided with the rest of the family and said he's noticed how I'm treated as well. My parents gave me one of the biggest apologies ever, but it sounded so forced. My grandparents have offered that I can come live with them soon and will cut off the monthly payments to my parents. My father told me I should have never told the rest of the family, and now they won't even talk to me, as my mother's been crying for days. So I'm starting to wonder if I went a bit too far. So, am I the a-hole for exposing my parents' favoritism? What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. So this is a very interesting story about parents' favoritism. There was actually a complete update posted just a little bit later, so let's go ahead and see what's going on in the update. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, just know it's the best way to support me, and I do deliver daily videos. Let's go ahead and see what's crackin' with the update. I decided to go ahead and call my grandparents to accept their offer to move in. During the phone call, I asked them why there was a monthly payment being sent to my parents anyways. Turns out my parents were living beyond their means for a while because my mother quit her job to be a full stay-at-home mom. My grandparents decided to help out by sending them money monthly to help with the parents' mortgage, and also set some money aside for college savings for both my brother and I. That was to be split evenly. Turns out, my parents only planned to put that saving towards my brother's college, and that's also how they bought his car as well. So, from now on, my parents are now on their own financially. Likely, my mother will have to go back to work to help my dad keep up the mortgage. I confronted my parents and asked why they've always treated my brother as their favorite, then asked if there was something I needed to know. Turns out there was literally nothing. Literally nothing. I am not an affair baby like the comments thought, not an unplanned pregnancy like the comments thought. They just liked my brother more. I was mad as heck, as we argued a lot before I left the room because I've had enough. My grandparents showed up on Saturday with a moving truck. My parents were floored when we started bringing boxes to pack. My father got in our way, and I reminded him how he said that I should move out, so I am. My mother cried some more and cried some more, and said that my father was just angry in the moment when he said that. And they've been counting on my rent for money to help with my brother's college fund. Laughable, huh? I asked if that meant he would never have to pay rent like I did when he turns 18. My father then said that since I was taking a gap year to work, then my rent money could have helped my brother, which means they never intended him to get a job while in college. My grandpa was enraged and confronted my father almost immediately, saying he raised him better than this. He chewed him out, saying he's never been more disappointed in him in his life, and they'll no longer receive any more financial support. Then said he disowned them both if they ever tried to retaliate against me for exposing them. My father backed down, and neither he nor mother said another word to me. I had a bit of an awkward conversation with my brother as we said our goodbyes to each other, and, well, that was it. I just got into the car and waved and drove off. I'm now fully moved into my new room at my grandparents' house. Yeah, it's a little smaller, but it's nice. And my grandparents are very welcoming. I'm going to keep working hard to move forward from this, and I appreciate everybody's support. What an interesting story, and that just seemed like a lot of manipulation from the parents, considering they needed that rent money. Guys, let's read through a couple comments on this subject. They've been counting on my rent money to help with my brother's college fund, quoted from the story with the comment saying this. At that point, any doubts you should have had disappeared. You're leaving forever, and their only thought is, But, what about the money, dearest, for us and your brother? Your parents are irredeemable jerks. Also, I really like your grandfather. That's when OP actually jumps into this conversation and says, yeah, my grandpa's an incredible person. He's stern, but very nice, and I always will be thankful for his support. Guys, I just want to know one thing about this story before we jump to our next story. What would you have done if you were in OP's position and they were treating you like this for literally your entire life, and you got the opportunity to expose them to the World Wide Web? What would you do? Drop your comments down below and let's check out the final story. Entitled parent ruins Christmas by stealing. Yeah, stealing my son's Nintendo Switch. It's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, but for me and my family, it was ruined by my brother's wife, EM. Entitled parent. 34, my wife and I have always had a strained relationship with entitled mother due to her tendency to be controlling and demanding. Not just with us, but with our entire family. It's caused a lot of tension and discomfort in the past. We had a family Christmas gathering where we organized a gift exchange for the children. My 7-year-old son was over the moon when he received a brand new Nintendo Switch as his gift. He was so excited to play it, but entitled mother saw the gift and immediately decided that her child, entitled kid, an 8-year-old, deserved the console more than my own son, stating that she could not afford to buy such an expensive gift for entitled kid Christmas during these holidays. Entitled mother proceeded to try and take the Nintendo Switch from my son using force, right in front of the Christmas tree, even though it was clearly labeled with my son's name. She was insisting and just causing a scene, accusing me of being a bad parent, and because she wasn't able to afford to buy such a nice gift for her son, we should give him one instead. Despite the attempts of my family members to reason with her and make her understand that her actions were wrong, she refuses to listen and kept trying to take the gift away from my son. My son began crying and screaming, but she didn't care. This all happened in about the space of 2 minutes before entitled mother stormed off screaming about how everyone hates her and she's better off without us. It was a horrible, terrible situation and experience, watching my son's excitement turn into disappointment and straight-up tears. The entitled behavior of entitled mother not only ruined the gift opening moment, but also the entire Christmas gathering for us all. Family members expressed their disappointment and disapproval of her actions, but she didn't care, and it seemed like all that mattered to her was getting what she wanted, no matter the cost. Her actions only served to further damage the already strained relationship between her and our family, proving that her selfish behavior tendencies know no boundaries, and that she can't even keep her entitlement in check during the holiday season. Our entire family has completely severed ties with her since Christmas, and despite her trying to reach out to apologize and say anything she can, I can't justify having her as a part of our life anymore. Our relationship was never great to begin with, and to me, this was the final straw that broke the camel's back. My son will always remember this Christmas. That's the one where his aunt tried to steal his gift. And to be honest with you, that just makes me feel absolutely horrible. My favorite type of comment is a similar situation comment. I know the longtime watchers of Mr. Redito already know that, but here is a similar situation comment. My sister did this many moons ago, when my granddaughter and her daughter were little like 4 or 3. My mom had given my granddaughter a wedding Barbie that she absolutely loved, and my niece, being a toddler, that toddler wanted that Barbie, and would not let my granddaughter play with it, and it was her gift. My sister then decided to tell us to let her daughter use it, just so we would have to replace the gift. The exact gift. We were all just shell-shocked, and she thought nothing of it. This has been my sister's pattern her whole life. Well, needless to say, that Barbie was sold out of everywhere, and she couldn't replace it. So she just bought a whatever Barbie and gave it to her. I'm the only one in the family who has ever stood up to anyone besides my dad, and I was mad, but she did not give 2 craps. So to say not have spoken to her in 6 years has been an absolute blessing in my life. So stand your ground and cut out that toxic person in your life. You can love and see your brother without her. Maybe at some point she'll see the errors of her way and reach out for help. It's doubtful, but hey, there's hope. Guys, if you would like to share your similar story, drop them down below. I want to thank you for tuning in today, and remember one thing. It's cool to be kind. See you guys later.